Hi, I'm Steve Frayne. I am Kelsey's father. I'm 47 years old and I will be the videographer.
Hi, I'm Lisa Frayne. I'm Kelsey's mother and I'm 44 years old.
Trevor Peterson, I'm 19. I'm Kelsey's boyfriend.
Conrad Ortwig, I'm 70 years old and I'm from Dallas.
I'm Carol Briggs. I'm Kelsey's grandmother, and I'm from Colorado Springs.
Imagine you are in a class and you could no longer read or learn about subjects that some people don't believe in. There would be less books, less discussions, and ultimately, less knowledge. I would like to talk to you about whether or not God or the Bible should be discussed in schools. I strongly believe that we should be able to discuss God in school. All of us at one point are going to discuss things in school that we may not agree with. But we can still learn a lot of great things when they are taught to us. I have learned a lot of things about life that I believe can be learned if God or the Bible were in our classrooms. First, I will talk to you about good things that are possible to learn with the Bible. Then, how discussing God in schools removes religious sensitivity. And lastly, how discussing God in schools will promote a community in and outside the classroom. Good things that are possible to learn with the Bible. Some of the 10 Commandments include, honor your father and your mother, and you shall not lie. These examples were found at the 10commandments.org. These you can learn in school without disrespecting others' beliefs. Another good thing that you will learn is about language. The writing style back then is different than the modern writing style. You will also be exposed to more vocabulary. Another good thing is you will learn about Christ, which will help you figure out a better stance on your personal beliefs. You will also learn about culture. All Scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness. We have just talked about good things that are possible to learn with the Bible. Now let's move on to how discussing God in schools removes religious sensitivity. Religious sensitivity is bad because it creates stereotypes and causes closed-mindedness. School is the best place to remove religious sensitivity because there are always an educated adult nearby, and you are always around your peers. Discussing God can be done in ways to address all religious beliefs. Opinionated discussions of religion can happen amongst classes. People will still be allowed to accept any theories brought up in class. These examples were found at thehuffingtonpost.com. There are no males or females, for you are all one. We have just talked about how discussing God in schools removes religious sensitivity. Now let's discuss how it will promote a community in and outside the classroom. Discussing God in schools causes discussion amongst the students. It leads to people finding common beliefs and an emotional connection to what's being taught. Discussing God in schools creates more understanding of classmates. It allows students to talk about what they believe with people like themselves. It also promotes learning if we know more about the people we're with. Discussing God in schools creates an open classroom unafraid of other topics. It allows discussion on real-world topics and allows students to identify with adult community. These examples were found at thisweeknews.com. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. I just shared with you why God and religion should be talked about in the classroom. First, there are a lot of good things that we can all learn when reading the Bible. Next, how discussing God in schools removes religious sensitivity. And finally, how discussing God will promote a community for students. So if knowledge is something we want to actually learn from our educators while attending class, I believe we should include as many educational topics as we can, including religion and God. Because I believe we should talk about God and religion, I would hope that everyone's education would be raised just a smidgen. But we can still learn a lot of great things when they are taught to us. And you shall not lie. These I found at, hold on. And you will also be exposed to more vocabulary. I'm not doing this anything. We have just talked about, now let's move on to discussing God in schools. Pause.